areas of the shaitan's work, which indeed has plagued society and it's become very problematic. The first is pornography, the viewing of explicit sexual material on the internet. And I know some people might be slightly uneasy about this, yes? They might say it's not appropriate to discuss this, but the reality today is we must be able to address these issues, yes? It has affected many households out there. There are youngsters and children who are addicted to it, yes? It has affected many of our community members. You only need to look at the dazzling statistics about the access towards this filth online and how it has spread. Because sometimes people say, you know, we had the tobacco industry and the addiction. Today, the pornographic industry has indeed taken over, yes? And the addiction to this type of material has become quite widespread. In which way? We look at, according to a website called WebMD, there are 490 million, yes, 490 million websites dedicated to this kind of material. 35% of downloads online is pornographic material. 25% of searches online is related to this. 200,000 Americans have admitted or have been documented to be addicted to pornographic images or movies, yes? This is not a matter to be taken lightly, yes? And therefore, what do we find? We find that today there is a discussion amongst many behavioral psychologists and others to highlight the dangers of this satanic movement. They say the viewing of such material online has a number of disastrous repercussions and consequences on the human being, yes? Number one, it has been shown to increase divorce and divorce rates. Approximately 350 lawyers in the United States were asked. 2/3 of them says that the viewing of such material has what? Has increased divorce rates quite considerably. It has also increased violence against women. It has also led to child abuse, yes? It has led to marital problems between people. Similarly, what do we find? It had led to even sexual problems, yes, sexual dysfunction of certain individuals. Indeed, what do we find? We find that other problems that have arisen include infidelity, for example, include lack of concentration. And the evidence that is presented is scientifically proven, yes? In which way? Scientists today, they say that when it comes to the addictive side of pornography, it is due to what is known as the Coolidge effect. What does this mean? This refers to the idea that watching this type of material kills natural stimulants, yes? And the human being will then want to watch more and more and move from the soft version towards the extreme version because they need to satisfy their desires more and more. So the addiction increases the more the human being watches this kind of material. And you might wonder, is this limited to, for example, the Western world? No. A website which is a research arm of Amazon.com published research to show that in 3 countries, Egypt, Tunisia, and yes, Lebanon, the number 1 or the most visited sites is pornographic sites. In Muslim countries, yes, we should not necessarily be surprised. I tell you, because somebody's wearing a hijab or they've got a beard, yes, doesn't necessarily mean the shaitan's going to say, oh, you're okay. In fact, the Holy Prophet, Al-Rasul Al-A'zam wa Nabi Al-Akram Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, in the narration says that if you want to know the influence of shaitan upon the believers, there are more shayateen trying to deceive and misguide mu'mineen and mu'minat than there are number of flies on a piece of meat that is left outside. When you leave a piece of meat, it gathers so much flies, yes, and bugs, yes. The Holy Prophet of Islam says this is the number of shayateen that seek to derail the human being. Therefore, when it comes to this dangerous shaitan tool online, there is a need for us to understand that watching this type of stuff severely darkens the heart and contaminates the mind. Yes, it pollutes us. There is a dangerous movement of the sexualization of children. Yes, there is this tendency when you're watching YouTube, there is all these suggestions. We are bombarded with indecent images, yes, on social media and other places. Sometimes it is so difficult to stay away from this, yes, but there is a need to know of its disastrous consequences on the soul, no doubt. The Quran espouses the importance of subjugating the nafs, of self-control, on not necessarily just doing whatever the desire wishes to do, yes, and to recognize that these images are imprinted and it is very difficult to remove these images from the mind, yes. Today science has actually shown this. Some have come forward and said that addiction to pornography and these kind of images and movies is worse than addiction to cocaine and other types of drugs. Yes.